Let me check the volume real quick. Slocking. Testing, testing. All right, we good? All right, shalom everybody. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Hanna. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite groups, Christian churches, Catholic churches, Islam mosques, any other organizations. We are not associated with any of them. With that being said, today is Friday, the Lashawan Qadash class, which is the Holy Tongue in English. With that, we're gonna go over the alphabet, then we're gonna go into the words with the letter I, continuing off from what we did 2 weeks ago. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the alphabet, and the alphabet goes from right to left. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and start. You got this right here is the ancient Hebrew. This is the first form of writing that the Hebrew Israelites, which is our ancestors, had. So this right here at the top row, from right to left, is the ancient, and right here on the bottom is when we went into captivity. It changed from the ancient into the Assyrian. The Assyrian is what is presently in the Tanakh. All right. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and go over the alphabet, so that way you get familiar more with how to pronounce the letter of, because sometimes you can just see something and you think it's what it sounds like, but it's not. So pronunciation always takes you a long way. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and go into pronunciation of the ancient, because in the ancient it also sounds the same way in the Assyrian Hebrew, which is a different script, but it sounds exactly the same. It's just written different because of captivities, if you understand what I'm talking about. With that, we're gonna go ahead and go A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Chaa, Ka, like Captain Katasa, like Karam Gabar. Ta, Ya, Ka, like Kahan, or Kanunya. We got an officer in Milwaukee named Kanunya. So right here, when you see Ka and you see Ka, just don't get it confused. You know what I'm saying? It's got a distinct sound for each of them. Ka, Ka. All right, I'm gonna start from the beginning. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. Okay? And that's how you would pronounce them if you were just saying them. Now what we got to go into is, from right to left, how to identify A in the ancient, Ba in the ancient, Ga in the ancient. That's your next struggle with learning the ancient and Assyrian Hebrew. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and go to A, right? A is like, you could say like a sideways A if you want. Ba. Ba is like a triangle type G. Then you have Ga. Ga is like a slanted 7. You know what I'm saying? It's like in an angle in a little bit. Boom, boom. And that'll be Ga. You got Da in the form of a triangle. You got Ha. It's like an inverted F with an extra line. You got boom and 2 lines at the bottom. So it's like it's similar to an F with extra line. Inverted. Then you have Wa in the form of a Y. You got Za, Z. You got Ka in the form of a 3-step ladder. If anybody knows, how you say, like, sometimes you got a 3-step ladder inside your crib. And, it's just for, shorter people, or, saying your rib to just reach something. You know what I'm saying? You can just put that in your head, like, because if you don't have these right here, you're going to have to identify it. That's how you got to trick yourself. You know what I'm saying? Without seeing these right here from top, like you got to learn how to identify with just the symbol. Same way as like this. Just by the symbol, you got to learn how to identify ba, ga, without, seeing the letters on the bottom. So you're going to have to kind of like condition yourself in a different way. Sometimes you want to go ahead and cover, like you can put like index cards over it, right? And you can be like, okay, I know that's ka. Okay, that's za right there. So in a way, that's how you want to learn. You know what I'm saying? If you're really trying to get in tune with learning the ancient Hebrew and the Syrian Hebrew, you're going to have to do things in a way where you condition your mind to remember in a way where, same way you was a little kid and you had to remember regular English. You know what I'm saying? Like an A, a B, a C. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we're going to go back to it. So, I left off on ha. No, I left off on za. No, ka. Slaki. I left off on ka. 3-step ladder. Then you got ta. Looks like a circle with an X directly in the middle. Next thing you have ya. You could sense off the top of your head how it's written. It's written in like a Z form in an angle, and then you have like a little dash in the middle. So however you want to define it, I'll say it's like a Z. That's how I simplified it to myself. But I know Yah was like a Z form with a strike right there in the middle. That's how I was able to remember. Then you got Ka. Ka is like a flip C. A flip C with a V in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you try to condition yourself to remember these letters and stuff. Now remember, I left off a Ka. Ka. So boom, if I was going to cover it up, and if I just had the symbols up top, now I got to identify them. You know what I'm saying? So that's Ka, that's Ya. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you want to go ahead and kind of like cover them up and definitely go over them. That way you can see if you got a good memory with just how to identify, the letter, the alphabet with the symbol. Now moving on, we got La. Simple. Boom. L. And it's not a sharp turn. It's more like a little shift. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's not sharp like a regular L. It's not sharp like that. You give it a little bit more definition. Give it a little angle on it. Boom. Then you have Ma. Ma is like a W at the top, right? Going into a Y form. That would be Ma. Na is like a V form at the top, going into a Y form at the bottom. You got Sa. Sa is like a straight line from top to bottom. A little bit from the top. You want to go ahead and write a little slight Z formation and a strike right underneath, like a line directly underneath that Z. You see what I mean? From top to bottom, it's a straight line. A little bit from the top, want to do a little Z, like this little zigzag. And directly on the bottom, you just like a little strike right there. And that would be Sa. Next one is I. I is just basically a little circle. Boom. And that's the symbol for I. You got Pa. Similar to a English J. But right here you got the line from left to right at the top. And a little bit from the right, you want to go a little bit over and do the little J slant right here. It's not from the middle. It's just a little bit from the right side and just come over. And boom, that's how you write Pa in the Hebrew. You have Taza. Taza is a line from top to bottom. And a little bit from the top, you want to do a zigzag, which is a Z. Boom, boom. And that right there will be Taza. You got Kwa. Kwa, you have a line from top to bottom. and like a dome formation at the top. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is, you could say it's like an umbrella. You could say it's like a mushroom. You could say, I would say it was just them two. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too complicated with how you want to identify it, but Kwa is more like an umbrella. Because you know umbrella, you got the handle going from top to bottom, and then you got the umbrella that covers you. Easiest way to identify it. If it's up to you, it's up to you. I'm not the one who can simplify it for you. Only you can simplify it for yourself. You know, I would identify as an umbrella. You might identify it as, I don't know, a stick with with a hat or something. I don't know. But moving forward, Ra. I always put this in the form as a 4. Like a lot of times you write 4 like this. Boom. We're used to it like this. You can write it like this, though. And that's similar to Ra. Boom. Some people write 4s like this. Some people write 4s like this right here. But this right here is what we're talking about when we're talking about Ra. Always in the capital letters too. Never get confused with it. We're gonna move forward. In the ancient is really not too difficult, because you can sense what they are. You just gotta identify, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, cover it up and you have to identify. If you could do the alphabet from right to left, A to Tha, and cover them, now all of a sudden you gotta put the symbol directly at the top. You know what I'm saying? So you want to go ahead and try to get familiar with that, because in order for you to ever put words together, you have to know what symbol it is. What symbol it is. I'm trying to simplify it. So if I got Na, I want to know, boom, it looks like a V formation going into a Y. That's the only way Na is described. So I'm just saying, like, if you write it from A to Tha, and you have all this blank up here, it gets a little harder. It's all muscle memory. And remember, this is just ancient. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Ra is like a 4, or I would say, like, if brothers or sisters like baseball, I would say this is like a pennant. A pennant is like you got the handle, and then you got the pennant on it that says like Chicago White Sox or Yankees or you know what I'm saying, whatever baseball team. So Ra, I would say it's either like a 4 or like a pennant. Next one is Sha. Sha, simple, boom. Nice W, boom. Then you got Tha. Tha's like an X. You got from top left down to the right. Then over here, a little bit off the ground, you take it and make it into an X form. Just make sure that it's not equal. You see what I mean? It's a little bit off the floor right here. X usually touching equally. This one, make sure it's going from top left to the bottom right, a little bit off the bottom from the left bottom, going to the top right. And that's how you do Ra. Tha, Salaki. All right, so with this is all the ancient Hebrew alphabet, right? If you could, I'm gonna step out the way, but definitely try to get a picture of this so you could go over yourself in your spare time. But like I said, anytime you're trying to use muscle memory, cover these up. Cover these up. Try to write just the Abagada all the way to Tha. And then, you know what I'm saying? And see where you could get which one of these in the right spots. Then reverse it and try to do the symbols and see if you remember, oh, that's La. Oh, that's Ma. That's Na. Sa. You know, you got to go ahead and try to condition your brain into remembering these things. Because this is just one form of writing. This is the ancient. This is the original script. Now you got the Syrian Hebrew. The Syrian Hebrew is really important because every Saturday morning is our Sabbath service. So tune into Isupk Chicago Sabbath service. I think it's around 9 a.m. It's with Officer Mayad, Officer Mariah, and a couple other brothers who come in. But whenever we're going to go ahead and read the Tanakh, this is Tanakh right here. Salakia. This is a Tanakh. This got the Assyrian Hebrew in it. And anytime we read in the Assyrian Hebrew, it gives us our authority back of how our ancestors used to speak when they used to read, the literature, or how they used to speak, or how they used to conversate with each other. But this Tanakh right here is always going to be written in the Assyrian Hebrew language. So this is also important. So like I said, this is one script, which is really important. And this right here is the Assyrian Hebrew, which is equally important. Because anything that is read tomorrow for the Sabbath service, which is really important, is read. The Tanakh is read in the Assyrian Hebrew. All right. So with that, now you got to go ahead and remember, this is an ancient right here. On the bottom is also ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. Directly at the bottom, you have the Assyrian Hebrew. All right? Now, say a word ends with ka, right? Say a word ends with ka, right? It's in Assyrian, you got the flip C, right? But at the end of the word, this is what you use at the beginning of the word. This is what you use at the end of a word, all right? I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm going to go ahead and go through this first. Is like an N, like a capital N, something like that. Ba, like a 7 with a little stand at the bottom. You got ga, looks kind of like a high heel to me, like a sister's high heel. You got da, that looks like a 7. You got ha, which is like a 7 with a little mark right here on the left side, not touching the top, but it's a little mark right there. You have wa, like a short body 7. Boom. Then you got za, short body T. You got ka, which is like a 7 right here. It's similar to this, except this line don't connect, ha don't connect. Over here, ha don't connect over here. Ka does connect right here. You got the 7, and boom, the line on the left side. Then you got ta. Ta's like a U shape. Boom. You got ya. Ya, I would say it's kind of like a comma, but in the air type comma. You know what I'm saying? So if you're writing anything, it'll just be like this. Boom. That's it. You know what I'm saying? While you writing a word and stuff, say it's like this. You know what I'm saying? This will be at the top. Sloppy. Boom. It's not the full thing. It's not like this. It's basically, it gets cut off at the top. It's like a little comma directly at the top. I know it's a little confusing, but the more you see it, it'll get a little bit easier. And it's hard to describe it when a person knows it and they're trying to differentiate it to somebody who's just learning it. So that's a real key point right there. So if you're talking about Yah's like a comma in the air. Kind of like how it's written right here. You know what I'm saying? You see how everything's touching from top to bottom? Yah is actually still in the air. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's coming low, if you could recognize it. All right? And that's Yah. Then you got Ka. Ka is like a C, an inverted C, or like a mirrored C. And then at the end of the word, if Ka in Assyrian is say Ka's at the end of the word, it'll be written like this. It'll be written like a 7, but with a skinny body right here. It'll be like a skinny body 7. That's how I just recognize it. Like I said, everybody's going to go ahead and condition their own brain to identify their own way. The way I learn is going to be different than how you learn. How I identify a letter is going to be different how you identify a letter. That's real important. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Don't think that my way is always my description of it, don't think that my description of it is always gonna, resonate with you. As long as we know that that right there is the same symbol, then we're on the same page. But how you describe it to yourself matters to you, and you can identify to yourself a lot better than I could. Like this right here, la, to me, it looks like a question mark. You know what I'm saying? Boom. You know what I'm saying? To me, it looks like a question mark. To somebody else, it may look like something else. But to me, la in Assyrian looks like a question mark. Moving on. Ma. Ma looks like if anybody knows how to write cursive, it looks like a cursive S. Anybody knows what a cursive S is? I know a lot of people don't use cursive no more. I know cursive is like that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a cursive S. Boom. And then you just strike it at the top. So that's what it looks like to me when I look at ma. If ma is at the end of a word, boom, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like a square. It's gonna look like a square shape with a little definition at the top, left hand side right here. So it's gonna be like a square. Boom. Then you got na. Na looks like, I want to say, a short body C. You know what I'm saying? A real short body. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really like this. More of just a little short boom. And then at the end of the word, if na's ever at the end of the word in the Tanakh or in the Assyrian Hebrew, if it's at the end of the word and you see this symbol right here, short 7, that's going to be na. Then you have right here, this similar to this one right here. That's why I say, like, you really got to go ahead and do your due diligence with how you studying, because a to tha is how you sound it out. But how you identify it right here really matters, because you got the square type figure right here, and you got a circular figure right here that's sa, a whole different pronunciation for that word, a whole different alphabet for that one. You know what I'm saying? This is ma, this is sa. So you're gonna have to differentiate the difference between ma, which is a square type shape at the end of the word, and if you see sa at the end of the word. Be real diligent with how you're identifying these letters, because you could be better than me. You probably study a lot better than me, or you probably get it a lot faster than others. But definitely look out for the little tricks. You know what I'm saying? This is ma right here at the end of the word. It's gonna be like in a square shape. Sa right here, whether it's in the beginning of the word or the end of the word, it's gonna look like that. So at the end of the word, don't get it confused with these two right here. Very important, because it could easily happen. It's not gonna be frowned upon where you're gonna get scolded and all that stuff. But you definitely want to go ahead and try to memorize ma, sa. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It takes a little while, but everybody will get it. Now we're right here on I, right? I is like a real deep Y. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by deep Y is, this is how we write a Y in the English. Boom, right? This is how you'll write a Y in a Hebrew, in Assyrian Hebrew. That's how you'll write it in Hebrew. This one go more toward the top. This one go more towards the bottom. Little definition, and then you can strike the top if you want. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Then that's I from top to bottom. All right? I'm just trying to write them out sometimes just to show you the difference. This one right here is written more like, this is a European Y. This is more of an ancient, this is our ancient Hebrew Y right here. So it's a lot different. Just like I said, you can write it like this, and then you can just strike the top if you want, just for a little definition or fanciness to it, because some people want to do the extra. Next, we have pa. It looks like an inverted G. So this is what I'm just trying to say. Pa, boom, right? This is what a G look like, right? Just imagine, just inverted, you know what I'm saying? And that's pa. And then you got at the end of the word, if a word ends in pa, so if you see this symbol at the end of a word, it's going to look like this. You know what I'm saying? And that's pa. So this will be at the beginning. This will be at the end of a word. All right? Remember, all of these right here, directly underneath, ka, ma, na, pa, and taza. All these right here are the only ones that have a different look at the end of the word. Everything else stays the same from beginning to end, except for these 5 right here. At the end of the word, you'll see this. If it's ka. If it's ma, you'll see this. If it's not, you'll see this. If it's pa, you'll see this. If it's taza, you'll see this. It's not tricky, but just remember, there's 5 at the end of the word. They'll be written a little bit different than the original look of it. All right, moving forward. Next one is taza. Taza, real fancy, you know what I'm saying? You can write it like that, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna look like this. Boom, boom, right? Boom. You know, sometimes you get a little fancy with it if you want. And then if it ends in taza, it's just gonna be written like this. Boom, boom. Strike from top to bottom. A little strike at the top. That's it. And just like I said, this will be at the beginning. This will be at the end. Differentiate, you know what I'm saying? When you know taza is at the end of the word and you see this right here, you know that's taza. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you see that at the end of a word, if you're reading in the Tanakh, you're gonna know that's pa. You know what I'm saying? These two right here, you have to really actually understand, because one is like a short 7, one is a long 7. But you'll understand at the end of the word, if you see any type of form like this, just know that's that same pronunciation at the top. All right? So right now we're on taza in the Syrian. This is how it be written. And I'll write it again at the top so you can see. Boom, boom. Bam. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. All right, so moving on. So that's taza. You got qua. Qua looks like an R type shape. Don't let this right here fool you, because it will look like a question mark with a line on the left side. So it will look like this. So if I'm reading, this is the printing. This print right here is basically perfect. This right here, from right to left, is the alphabet, but how you will write it personally. You know what I'm saying? So this will be perfect, like if you print it out in the Tanakh. This will be like if you writing it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's the difference between these two. They're the same thing. It's just printed perfectly, written how you would write it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Slocky, give me 1 second. Somebody at the door. Real quick. All right, Salaki, I had to get the door. So where I left off at was Kwa, right? So boom, if it's printed, it's gonna look like this, real fancy, perfect. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm writing it, it's like more like an R. You know what I'm saying? An R. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom right here. Just a boom, boom, and that's Kwa. Always write it in capitals, Kwa, bam. You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody understands that. Salaki, gonna move forward, because we got some words to get into. Then you got Ra. Ra is just like a 7, boom. Just like that. Nothing fancy or sophisticated about it. Just exactly how it is. Then you got shop. Shop. See it. You got rock. And you got shop. You know what I'm saying? It's not too complicated, you know what I'm saying? It's just getting more familiar or more accustomed to the writing and the alphabet. First learn the alphabet, then learn the script. It could be the ancient first, then you can work on the Syrian. Last one is tha. Tha, simple. Boom, boom. That's it. Boom, boom. That's it. That's all you gotta do with it. And that right there is tha. Always written in capital, just like I said. Hope everybody see that. Now we're gonna go ahead and change the camera so we go over some words, all right? Excuse me. Boom. All right. I'll move the camera over real quick. If somebody's having a problem with the glare, I apologize. Just let me know. All right. So let's get it. First word we're going to get into. All right, first word we're going to get into, all right? 1 second. The word we left off with was icon. The word we're going right now is icon, all right? Icon. All right? So icon in English is going to be called Ayakwawanyan. Ayakwawanyan. That's how you pronounce it. That's pronunciation. I'm going to write it right here, all right? Everything in capitals, all right? Ayakwawanyan. Yan. All right? And how you want to go ahead and, I'm going to write it in ancient. But before I do it, if you have taken a picture of the Hebrew alphabet, try to put it in place yourself. So if this is the first, if it's Ayakwawanyan, you want to go ahead and write it to yourself from right to left. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's written right here, pronounced left to right, in the ancient, you're going to have to go right to left. All right? I'll write it for you, but a lot of times, if it's written like this, and you could zoom in on the screen or whatever, Ayakwawanyan. You want to go ahead and try to write it in yourself. And don't forget your connectors also. So I'm going to write it right here, but I hope you guys are doing it at home for yourself. All right. So, ya, kwa, wa, na, ya, and na. Now you got to go put the connectors. But the same way you pronounced it right here is how you're going to connect it. A's together, ya's together. That's why I do the pronunciation. Ya, kwa, wan, yan. So this right here, this stay the same. Right? Because you got A-H, just like the alphabet. Then you got Ya, stays the same, right? Boom. Then you got Kwa, stays the same. Then you got Wan. So you got these two to connect, right? So now you got to put a connector. Wan. Because Na, you knock off the A. So you got Wa and then Na. So Wan. Then you got Ya, is connected. So boom. You got to knock off the A from Yan. A, Ya, Kwa, Wan, Yan. I know it's a little difficult, but that's exactly how it's written. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to read it in the Assyrian, it's the same letters directly at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It's just with the ancient, it'll show you how to pronounce it properly. So Aya, Kwa, Wan, Yan is icon. So if somebody's name is Aya, Kwa, Wan, Yan, that means that brother's an icon. All right? I know it's a little difficult because it's a long word. It is what it is. We're going to move forward. Hopefully everybody written that down. Next one is identity. You know what I'm saying? We're hoping all blacks, Hispanics, and natives come back into the Isupk and learn the true identity of the Bible. So that's what I'm going to go over right now. Identity. Identity. Boom. Right? And how you pronounce identity in the Hebrew is Dama. All right? Dama. And I put the lines underneath so that way you know where the connection's supposed to be if you're going to go ahead and write it in the ancient on your own. I'm trying to help you out in a way without giving you everything. If you can understand. And remember, everything that's written when it's in ancient Hebrew or Assyrian Hebrew, everything is written in capitals. All right? All right, now I'm going to put it in the ancient so everybody knows. All right. All right, there you go. You got Da, Ma. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you want me to get a little more, descriptive with it, so that way you can see a little better. Hold on 1 second. It's more like a triangle. My fault. Boom. 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 And these connectors connect. Boom. Da, ma. And that's identity in the English. I'll give everybody like 5 seconds to go ahead and write these down, and I'm going to go ahead and move to the next couple. All right, let's get it. I want to give y'all some more words before we leave today. Let's get it. And remember, this language is only for blacks, Hispanics, and natives. So if anybody else is tuning in, definitely, appreciate you tuning in and stuff. But this is mostly for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives learning their true biblical language. All right, the next one in English, it will be idle. Idle. While we're doing this work in the truth, we don't want anybody just standing idle. We want you to put this work in with us. You know what I'm saying? Get into school, learn how to produce along with your brothers and sisters. So just don't be idle watching. Be idle. Be present. Don't be idle. Be present. It's like, all right. Idle will be batam. Ba. Ta. Ta. All right. Idle in English, in the Hebrew, is ba ta. All right. Take notes. You never know when you're gonna see these words again. And if you ever come across them, you know, or you hear them, or somebody talking like that, you'll actually identify exactly what they're talking about. All right, I'm gonna write in the ancient. All right. So that's how you write it in ancient. Idle in English is batal in the Hebrew. And that's how you'll write it. Now, where do connectors go? If ba is right here, ba is the complete letter for that. Then you got ta and la. So you see how the A's knocked off? This has got a connector. Connected. Boom. Simple as that. I help you out with the connectors right here, pronouncing it, so you can write it properly right here. So don't always wait for me. If I'm doing this right here, understand you can also write it on your own right there. All right, y'all probably got that one. Let me go to the next one. Now this one is idle. We should not be serving any idols. Not the cross, not the Christian white Jesus, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of idol worshiping out here. This is the word in English. We're gonna go ahead and write it in ancient. Watch out for idols. You know what I'm saying? Mother's Day, that was idol worshiping. Father's Day is idol worshiping. Christmas is idol worshiping. And so on. But I'm not gonna get too much into it. All right, idol in the Hebrew is alayal. Alayal. All right? Ya. All right. Idol in English is ya. And I pronounced it with the connectors at the bottom. Now let's see if you can go ahead and do it on your own from right to left right here. Don't wait for me to give you the answer if you guys can go ahead and do it yourself, you know. All right, I'm gonna write it right here. All right. Idol in English, alaya is how you pronounce it, and then how you write it, alayal. I hope everybody understands, you know. I'm making that as simple as I could. So, give everybody about 5 or 10 seconds to go ahead and write that down. And the reason I don't write a third one right here is because it's too low at the bottom that sometimes it gets blocked off by the screen or whatever those letters on the StreamYard. So I won't put none down here only because I want you to get the full understanding of the word in English, how you pronounce it in ancient. I don't want something being blocked off and you're not getting the full understanding of what we're doing. All right, I hope everybody got that. If not, you're gonna have to go over the video. Let's get it. All right. And mind you, I'm not as good as, you know, Officer Mayad, Officer Mariah, Officer Warrior, Hazahai from New York and stuff. But what I do know is whatever I teach you, I already went over and I know it's 100% on point. And if I ever do make a error, expect me though next week to correct my error. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna move on to the next one. Next one would be a simple word. If. Simple. How you say it is am. 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 You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was like way off. Everybody a little higher. Shit look bogus. It's gonna mess up my eyes. Alright. And that's a little word right there. So if you could, try to go ahead and write it in yourself if you could. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat who's checking in. Hopefully y'all taking notes. The water for all the teachings you gave me. Officer Mariah, I see you checking in. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be as good in the truth as I am if it wasn't for you. Appreciate all the time and patience you had with me. All right, now I'm going to write in the ancient. All right. So, remember everything from right to left. Just because it's written from left to right here, that's just a pronunciation. We write it in the ancient, right to left. Let's not forget that. And like I say every week, I will never give you guys sentences if you don't understand words. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over words, definitions of the word for the moment, and then, you know what I'm saying, learn how to write them properly. I can't give you a sentence if you don't know a word, and I wouldn't even want to be comfortable with writing sentences until you know a word. So this goes a long way. Simple terms. All right, gonna go ahead and go to the next one. The next one is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? In this school, we don't want to be ignorant or ignorant in learning. You know what I'm saying? We want to be more wise in learning. Whether it be the Lashawan Qadash, which is the holy tongue, what we're doing right now, which is the Hebrew and Assyrian alphabet and language. It will be with the scriptures. Everything we do has to be with wisdom and not with ignorance. So this word is ignorant in the English. Ignorant. All right. So ignorant English. And in the Hebrew, it will be bawar. Bawar. War. And like I said, if you could, try to write in the ancient by me just giving you that right there. If this is pronunciation for ignorant in the Hebrew, bawar, how would you write it over here in the ancient? Try not to wait for me. It's just a slight challenge to see if you guys can get it, because, you know, you don't always want the answers. You always want to try on your own. All right. I hope everybody had no time. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it myself so that way everybody get it. All right. Ignorant. Boom. Ba-war. And that's how you would write it in the ancient. If you go over your alphabet, boom, you got ba, right? Boom, ba. Then you got wa connected with ra. So you got the wa, and then you got the ra. You remember I told you it's kind of like a pennant or a fort? That's how you got it. Ba, war. And bawar in the ancient Hebrew is ignorant. We don't want to be ignorant in school. We want to be wise up in here. Everything we do in here, we want to do decently and in order, properly. Never with this word right here. Never being ignorant to learning something new. This right here, this word ignorant, will not give you value in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You think you know everything, nobody can teach me nothing. Okay, nobody can teach you nothing, but you're never going to learn if somebody don't teach you. us as men sometimes, we feel like, and nobody can teach us anything. But when you want to learn something, somebody else got to teach you properly. You know what I'm saying? That means we got to humble ourselves down and stop being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? We got to humble ourselves down. Don't be this word. Don't be Bawar in this truth. We really need brothers and sisters in here that are really open-minded to do good things and do better every day. All right, that's a 2. I hope y'all got it. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. I'll give you 2 more. The water for tuning in. Go over another 2 words. I hope everybody got it. If not, definitely go over this class again. Go on YouTube or Facebook and definitely go ahead and go back into this class and see what you missed if I was going slightly too fast. Next word is ill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Say you fell ill to, a flu or a cold or whatever it is. You just felt sick. You felt ill. I-L-L. Ill. All right? Ill is makala. Makala. If I write too close, let me know. If my writing's a little bogus, let me know. Yeah, it kind of looks bad. That's my fault. My writing ain't as good as everybody else. I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know how to, write as good as the others. Ma, ka, ma, ka, la. All right? So ill, being sick with a cold, flu, whatever type of illness, being ill is ma, ka, la. If you could write it in the ancient, I would highly suggest you do it. If not, I'm going to write it in a second. But try to give yourself enough confidence to write it in the ancient on your own with the connectors. I'm gonna write it right here just for the. I'm gonna write it right here just for the kids, because I know some kids are watching too. All right. All right. Connectors, my. All right. Ill in the English, being sick or have the flu or something like that, or a cold, is like in the ancient Hebrew is ma ka la. And ma ka la in the ancient, if right to left, ma ka la. All right. And ma ka la is being ill. All right. I pray everybody got that. I apologize if I write a little, bogus and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I write as legible as I could for y'all, but blame the Chicago public school systems for that. All right. Next one is illegal. All these Europeans are illegal on Black, Hispanic, and Native land right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would describe illegal. Illegal would be a European here. Those are the true illegals. illegal in the ancient Hebrew is Balath Yah. Balath Yah. Everything in capital letters, right? Alright, boom. Balath. Yeah. Alright. I gotta make sure I got it properly. The so-called oppressor, the white man, the illegal and ancient is Balath Yah. Those are only illegals in the United States and North and Central South America. The illegals are the Europeans. And how you will say it in ancient Hebrew, Balath Yah. If you could, try to write it out yourself. If not, I'm going to write it in myself. Whoever's tuning in, try to get them likes up. You know, this is Black, Hispanic, and Native education right here. Biblical Hebrew. Also, tune into Sabbath service tomorrow on Isupk Chicago at 9 a.m. in the morning. If you could, you know what I'm saying? All right. And Balath Yah, I'm going to write it right here. I'm going to write an ancient. Damn. All right. Lath Yah. That's how you do this. Illegal in English, Balath Yah in the Hebrew, and this is how you write it in the ancient Hebrew. Balath Yah. Well, with that, thanks for tuning in to Isupk Chicago, Lashawan Qadash class. Definitely tune in to the Roundtable Truth. It will be on at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock p.m. Tune into the Roundtable Truth on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything. And also tomorrow we have our Sabbath service. You can do whatever you want for 6 days, the 7 days of the Lord. So take time out your day to tune into Isupk Chicago Sabbath service tomorrow at 9 a.m. You know, just like I said, you can do whatever you want throughout the week. Just get the Lord your time for 1 day. Just tune into Isupk Chicago for the Sabbath service. And with that, I'm Officer 500 Azan Yala. Shalom, everybody.